All right, we are headed into Fairborn. We're going to take a tour of Fairborn. Fairborn is home to Wright Patt. It is home to Wright State University. So it does cover a large area. However, Wright State takes up some of it. The base takes up some of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the newer areas to Fairborn, and then while we're traveling to some of the newer areas and the more popular ones, you'll get a feel for what the other smaller homes look like. Also, the older 1950s, the brick ranches, that sort of thing. So hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know if you have any questions about Fairborn, or what else Fairborn has to offer. I can definitely give you links for any information. And so let's get to it. All right, so we are starting on the back side of Fairborn, so to speak, where you're looking at the Wright Patt Air Force Base right now. The back side, it's one of the gates to get in. This is from the back area, like I said, to Wright Patt Air Force Base. So we're going to kind of go along the edge of it to start off. Going to head downtown Fairborn. And then we're going to head out to, so Fairborn has a lot of newer developments, newer homes and that sort of thing. And then they also have 1950s. They were incorporated in 1950s, Fairborn was. And current population of Fairborn is 35,000, just around the 35,000 mark. So it's not a real big area, but it's big enough, right? It does cover some mileage, the city of Fairborn does. There is one middle school, one high school, and one grade school. Yes, there's not multiple grade schools, so you don't have to worry about being in a certain school district in order to go to a certain grade school. There's just one grade school for Fairborn. We are, like I said, on the back side of the base and then approaching downtown Fairborn. They do have a cute little downtown area. We'll go through that. Got your typical McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, all back here. Your Flying Dragon for your dollar store, Taco Bell. Fairborn does have Meyer and Wright State University. So we probably won't go over to that side of Fairborn. Maybe I need to do this in two. I was thinking Fairborn I could hit up in one. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll get a second one in there also. But for now, we're just going to try to do one big swoop of Fairborn, so you can kind of get an idea and get a feel for what it would be like to live in Fairborn. All right, we are approaching the downtown area. As you can see, there's lots of businesses coming up. They've done a lot of work in this area for the streets and stuff like that. As you can see, the sidewalks are nice and wide. Got bike lanes. There's a divider. And if you can see that big, it says FA. They are redoing the theater that used to be in Fairborn. So excited to see what they are going to do with that. All right, so if you keep on going straight, that leads you right to another gate for the base. As you can see, there's the sign to your right to get into base. The commissary is over here also. But you've got cute little houses in the back area there. In the back, you can kind of see where we just turned. Those run around, 120s to 160s. Got a cute coffee shop. I wonder if that's open now. Oh, nope, not yet. The Muddy Goose. Oh, I went down too far. I was too busy looking at the wide streets and the sidewalks. All right, let's turn right here. All right, now we're going to get to the main drag here. So Main Street is where happenings such as the Halloween festival happens. They've got a tree lighting that goes on, obviously, over Christmas. Got some real estate for sale. So it's just a quaint little downtown area, as you can see. We've got toys. There's a coffee shop on the corner. Foy's has, they're big into Halloween, so they're the ones that, if you're looking for Halloween items, you definitely come to Downtown Fairborn to Foy's costume and Halloween stores. The library is over here, right there in the corner. I don't know if you can see the clown faces on the... I'm following this Amazon truck and I don't really like it. Okay, so a lot of the homes back in here are going to be, oh, he was trying to get behind me. A lot of the homes back in here are going to be either historic or older homes, bungalows, that sort of thing, or they're going to be more the 1950s style homes. You're going to get a lot of ranches in the back. And then also some two-story older homes. I'm going to head to some of the popular housing areas, subdivisions. That's how we're going to do this. So we're headed a little bit out of town, so to speak. So Fairborn is known for its parks also. I'll take you through, or on the outskirts of Community Park, so you can get a feel for that. But there are 845 acres plus of community parks, and that includes parklands, reserves, wetlands, that sort of thing. Some of the festivals that are in Fairborn, the Corn Festival is a big one, and that's held at Community Park. And then they have the Halloween Fest, like I said, in downtown, a tree lighting. Downtown also, they host Independence Days there, which is over the 3rd and 4th of July. And another big event that's held in Fairborn and on base is, if you're a runner, the United States Air Force Marathon is held here in the Dayton area. It brings a lot of help to the economy in the area when the marathon does come to town, and that's usually mid-September when that happens, and they do full marathon and half marathon. So the full marathon will take you, well, I guess I've done it a couple of times, but the one time I did the full, it took you on base, and I think they still do that. And I don't know if you've ever done marathons before, but if you have, be prepared to not have anyone around because it is on base and not everyone can get on base, so you're kind of alone when you're running this 26.2 miles, and so you really gotta, have some good music in your ears and that sort of thing. So word to the wise, if you are looking for a marathon to run and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Dayton, Ohio and run the Air Force Marathon, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, wait, no, I think I changed my mind. Okay, so we're going to go to the left to Rona Hills. It's one of the older, popular areas. They're mostly ranch homes. There's a few tri-levels and a few two-stories in here, but not a lot. Most of them, as you can see, are brick homes. Got sidewalks, which is nice. These homes will sell for, you've got some sprawling ones and you've got some smaller ones, and they'll sell, anywhere, I would say average around $250 or so, depending on the upgrades that have taken place. So it's trash day. But anyway, so if you plan on doing the marathon, the Air Force Marathon, the half marathon is much more exciting because you go on the outskirts of base, and it's just easier because it is only 13.1 miles. But anyway, okay. Rona Hills. We are about to go out of Rona Hills and head to the subdivision across the street, which is the newer subdivision. These are very well-built homes. Anytime I sell back in here, it doesn't seem like you have a lot of issues, unless the homeowner did not take care of the home, obviously. But as you could tell, most of these are ranch homes. There are a couple of two-stories. Not a couple, there's a few two-stories. If you do go left, that will take you to another newer subdivision. But we're gonna go right and head across the street. Rona Hills does have a park associated with it also. And so speaking of the parks, I'll hold off on that. All right, across the street, we're gonna find homes that were built in the beginning. So the right side was built, this is Waterford Landing. The right side was built a little bit earlier. It was built around 2017, 18, somewhere in there. And they just finished it off 2 years ago, I think. So this is a really, really big subdivision. It's a Ryan Homes subdivision, if you're familiar with Ryan Homes. But these ones, you do have smaller yards to them, but they're still a good size. Mostly two-story back here on a basement. Depending who has been in the homes before, we'll let you know if the basement has been finished off or not. Okay, oops, did I? Oh, I didn't need to go down the street, it was the other one. These are more of the older style, the earlier 2017, 2018. If you look ahead, you can see straight ahead. Let me see. We'll go over there. It's the newer builds. They look a little bit different. You can see to the right the look is a little bit different, and even these, it's a little bit different. But these are the newer ones. Stone instead of brick for a lot of these. So these are all the newer ones. Let's go out this way. And this area here was the last part of the subdivision that was built out. The last phase. All right, so the parks in Fairborn, there are 27 parks, like I said, including nature reserves. And then there's what's also called the Wright Brothers Huffman Wright Brothers Huffman Prairie Bikeway. Oh my goodness. And that is part of the Huffman Dam also. So that includes that also. So most of the parks, or a lot of the parks, will have walking trails. There's an amphitheater, there's a skate park, there's some that have softball diamonds, there's a couple that do fishing. Dog parks, picnic areas. There's one that has a gazebo, play areas, like frisbee golf, that sort of thing. So like in this little area of Fairborn, there's quite a few park areas if you're into the park areas. Also, Fairborn is known for one of the world's largest Air Force museum, aviation museum. It spans 19 acres of indoor. That's just the indoor portion of it. And so I have been there a couple of times and still have not gone through the whole museum. I need to go back again, I guess. When I was there when my children were littler and they couldn't handle it. There's so much to look at. When I was on the website, they were saying that there's 350 aviation vehicles and missiles. 350. So a lot of people make a weekend out of it or a couple days out of it because, like I said, you just can't get through everything in one day. If you're one to look at everything, there's artifacts in there. There's documents and so many different things, and there's little interactive areas also for kids. So it's definitely a sight to see if you are going to, whether you're into aviation or you're not. The Air Force Museum is something else. It's free. Did I mention that? It's free. F-R-E-E. It's a free museum. So I highly suggest if you are in the area, if you're here for the Air Force Marathon or anything like that, definitely take time to go through there. You know what? Actually, I'm going to turn left and go through another popular subdivision too that is here. I think it's going to pour down rain here soon too. Got some new gas stations. So, Fairborn, if we're talking housing market, because you're thinking about moving here, so what does it cost to live here? The average home price for 2025 was $250,000, the average home price. Keep in mind that we're talking about smaller ranch homes all the way up to, you know, some of these new builds that we're gonna see here shortly. You know, three bedroom, 1 bath homes, all the way up to, you know, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath on a finished basement. So the average price is $250,000, and median was $237,000. The average days on market was 42. So I would say this is a pretty popular area here, Fairborn. And it's affordable, because if you're go back to my video of Beaver Creek, and I did 2 videos for Beaver Creek because that covers much larger territory, but it costs a lot more to live there. $75,000 more probably. So if you're, you know, debating which way you want to go, Fairborn, you get more house for your money for sure. And once again, we're on the outskirts. So if I would have kept on going straight, you would get older farm type properties, or maybe even little clusters of properties that have a little bit of acreage, and they're all older. So just to give you an example of the size of Fairborn, last year there were 493 properties that were sold in Fairborn. In Beaver Creek, there were 806 sold. And in Centerville, there were 954 sold. So Fairborn is much smaller than those other 2 communities. So if you're wanting, you know, something that's not super close to amenities, although, you know, Fairborn now has a Menards, they have a Super Kroger, or a Kroger Marketplace, sorry. So we've gone through all that. The high school. Let's go this way and shoot through shoot by the high school area. I guess it seems like we're kind of following this bus. So we are going to take a left up here, but if you continue to go straight, you would end up in those homes, like I said, that were 3 bedroom, 1 bath, just very modest homes, still very popular. For first-time home buyers, for those that are looking to downsize, that sort of thing. And those will run you 150s. They don't last very long. Okay, so this is a brand new high school. They just opened it, not this school season, but the school before that. We will pop in here quick. It's one of the newer subdivisions built by Fisher Homes. You can see the high school on the right here. These are all built 2020 and above. These ones here are the newest ones. So 24, 25, 26. I'm assuming there's some 26s in here. Looks like this phase had a lot of ranch properties. So as you can see, these, I'll just turn around, it's all the same, just for time purposes. But Arden Place, it's a newer subdivision, super nice. Fisher Homes builds. Advantages to being here as opposed to the other one that we were in is this one's closer to the grocery store, closer to Menards, closer to the gym if you're into that. closer to the high school. Kids could walk across the street to the high school. They are putting a middle school over here also. I actually don't know when they're, when they're starting that. All right, so you can see the new football stadium on the right. There's baseball fields over there also. Oh, people are lining up to pick up their kids. I wonder what time they get done with school. So this time of day, this is a busier area. It's a beautiful school. Very beautiful. That sky. Oh, that must be the start of the middle school. All this new housing, they have to build more schools. And here's the first phase of Arden Place that I just went by. All right, so next we are going to, you know what? Okay, that's what we'll do. So there's quite a few other newer, newer by 2000s up. So I guess, is that considered newer anymore? Because we are 2026 now at this point in time. Is the home, this is a question for you, is the home in the 2000s, built 2003, is that considered a newer home? Or would that not be considered a newer home? Anyway, there's a lot of those to the left if we take a left, or if we go straight and then we'll hop there. To the left is where you will find Kroger and Menards and the gym. Now we're going to head more into the heart or center, or I don't know, the more established parts of Fairborn. We'll drive by a community park. I told you I was going to take you in there, so let me get into this other lane so we can do that. That was 675 that we just crossed. So Fairborn the borders of it are 70, Route 4, 675. Right, so the park is right here. I'll do a drive-by, drive-through, not really a drive-by. Sorry, you're seeing my my apparatus to hold my phone. All right, so this is the park. We've got softball right there. Got tennis courts down here also. A trail that goes through there. Okay, I'm not trying to go back that way. That's the old high school on the back side of the park. But if you do follow that trail back there, you will, you'll eventually hit the back part of the park where there is fishing. There's a fishing pond back there. It's got shelter area. The amphitheater is in this park also. This is the biggest park. I feel like the trail is 1.3 miles, I think. That on the front part of the park anyway. All right, we are on Dayton Yellow Springs Road. This road will take you to Yellow Springs, and it will take you, if you keep on going straight down here, it will take you to the base. So you've got quite a bit of housing in the back to the right. And those houses, they're the ranch style homes like you see here. There's 2-story. There's a few quads back there. Very well established neighborhood. People do like that neighborhood a lot because it's not flat, it's treed. There's some ups and downs, there's sidewalks. So that is a popular neighborhood off of Dayton Yellow Springs. Keep on going straight, you will hit the grade school. So you've got the little DQ, got Walgreens, you have CVS over here, Dunkin' Donuts. Fairborn has it all, huh? I've been over here since they opened that storage sense place. Used to be an old Kmart. We've got apartments. Fairborn is a highly rentable area. There's quite a few apartments here. There's quite a few homes that are for rent. A lot of it is due to the military base. For folks that are not living on base, they've got other options that are still close. So you've got some homes that are off to the right there. Those are older. Some of them are on sewer and septic and well water. Some have city water. Some are hooked up to sanitary sewer, but even on both sides of the road. Then you've got a subdivision coming up on the left. That's Fair Creek Ridge. And those homes were built 2008-ish, 2005. These homes here, as you can see, they're a little bit older. They do have larger yards. Some of them will be a half-acre yard. Get a feel for what those houses back there look like. A lot of ranches back there on slabs. All right, we are coming up on Wright State University. that is in Fairborn, and it borders Beaver Creek. So actually Fairborn is more spread out than what I was thinking it was, so this was a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but I felt like you should see the newer parts of Fairborn, because most people when they're moving here, that's what they want. They want the newer homes with less hassles, so hopefully that's helpful. This is the Nutter Center. Oh, I don't think you can see it. It is part of Wright State University. They hold a lot of concerts and graduations, and that's where the Wright State University plays their basketball games and volleyball. So all of this to the right is all Wright State University. A lot of that, and that campus is more of a commuter school. There are some dormitories available, but not a lot. So most folks that do come, they do live off campus and they commute to classes. They do have a film school. They've got a medical program. They've got engineering. And some of it is associated with some of the military contractors also. So that's very helpful for Wright State. And then across the street are more businesses. So that, I'm going to wrap up that the Fairborn tour. Hopefully you got a feel for what it would feel like to live in Fairborn. Any questions, please do reach out. My email information is below. And I think that's it for today on this dreary day in March 2026. But hopefully you found some enjoyment in this and figure that either Fairborn is for you or is not for you. Maybe there's some good points, bad points. If you have any questions, please do let me know. And I will see you on the next tour.